All right, let's take a look at BCTX. It's a low float biotech stock, which again has been kind of the theme for the market, seems like, in the low float world recently. It's gapped up on some news, but has pretty much almost retraced that move in the pre-market. We went from roughly 10 to 1260, now we're back at 10.6. Yesterday made also a significant move to the downside. So you kind of can see on this 5 minute, essentially goes from 1150, to a low of 8.9, just almost like a big flush out, hard selling, then consolidation. Um, so we're still below this like 11.6 level from 2 days ago. It's really showing to be fairly weak. I mean, we had some decent volume on the push on the gap up to the 12.6, but it's starting to kind of fade in volume as price action as well. If we look at some levels, we do have, perhaps some around that 10.25 and 10.75 maybe. There's really not much on the daily to kind of gather. We do just seems to have almost like a support at 9.5, and then if we just look at what the kind of resistance was, or a level was the 2 days ago, at like 11.6, 11.7 area. We're kind of consolidating in this. We have this kind of big range from 11.6 to really almost like 10.25. I mean, it's really going to make a big move up, past 11, and then even past VWAP within this, short time remaining for pre-market for it to even really make a move. Let's look at ATER. We looked at this yesterday and a few times last week. We had a huge move yesterday at the close and kind of pre-market. It is really breaking down now, which is not too good of a sign for any strength. It's really showing some weakness right now. We had a huge move on the close, squeezing up to almost 550. Kind of thought that if it would, hold this, if it would hold 5, and then, it sees more volume on the open, it would have broken out, but it has broken 5, and now it's breaking that 4.8 support. So it looks like it's fading almost down to that 4.5 range. Not much strength. I think it's going to have to reclaim, if it can reclaim this 4.8 and get closer to 5 on the open, possibly then might have room for an uptrend, but it's looking fairly weak right now. If we look at VERU, we talked about this last week, or rather a couple days ago. Just made a huge move, squeezed tons of perhaps long-term short positions, and then just fluctuated in this 12 to 14 range, and then just kind of retraced all that movement almost the following day. I mean, it seemed to have found support roughly 9.75, and now it seems that we are making a little bit of a move on some okay volume, kind of from 10 really to almost 11, low float. So it's got the potential to, wick up and down. I think ultimately it would really have to make a move. I mean, almost up to like 13.75. That seems to be kind of like the open from previous day prior to a huge drop. There's probably a lot of short positions in right around there, maybe risking off 14. So it's got a long ways to go. I mean, it just will be a tough ride. I mean, for it to get all the way up to 14 for another, squeeze up, but it has made that move in the past. it just seems that a few of the stocks we've looked at this morning seem to be on the weaker side in terms of just not having a lot of buying and volume. So that might just be the trend for today. There might not be anything that really takes off to the upside. Might be more of a consolidation day with, obviously the regular few gains and losses throughout the market, but nothing real explosive in the low float area. But definitely something to keep in watch on the open. I mean, it is above VWAP, so it could, be an intraday move to some of these previous levels of, really 12, 13, or 14. On the flip side, if it can't hold this 975 level, then I think we see further fading to 775.